Wido Schnabel is an expert on solar energy. He joins us now. Wido, good afternoon to you. There have been plenty of cities around the world that have been doing this for a very long time. I think Germany was the pioneer. It happens in Hong Kong. It happens everywhere. How difficult is it to do, for a city to buy electricity from its own residents?
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers. It is actually quite easy. I mean, electrons can flow in any direction, as we know, and it should have been done long ago, but let's leave it there as should. It's great that this is happening now. City of Cape Town, as Kevin has said, has done this already for a few years. So they have been able to buy electricity, but it was very limited, and it was mainly also due to the Municipal Finance Act. And now that they've got the exemption, that's great that we all can become generators, little Escoms, so to say, and feed back into the grid. I think that's a great step forward. It's wonderful that we can get everybody being part of this just energy transition. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is really one step further.
Can a normal household really generate that much electricity? I mean, a solar installation is still quite expensive, but can it really generate excess electricity that the house won't be using itself?
Stephen, yes. So think about this. You are at home in the morning, you want to have coffee and use electricity. That's when you use it yourself. But then most of the households leave the house and go to work. And they need electricity basically at work, so they're not utilizing it at home. Yes, they can set their pool pumps on timers, or, washing can be done during the day if, the housewife is home or the husband is at home and does the washing. Hopefully that happens as well. But so if you can move your loads during the day when there is sunshine, then of course one can use some of that electricity yourselves. But most of the systems have got excess power. So, for example, my system, I've got a little bit bigger system and a big battery because I charge my electric vehicle from that as well. But my system in summer by 11:30, 12 o'clock, everything is charged. The washing has been done, the pool is clean, everything is done. And then I've got excess power that I'm sort of putting to waste because pushing it back into the grid as a net consumer is not possible, or was not possible, or is not at the moment until it's through for residents as well.
And would you be able to control how much power you put in the grid and when you put it in?
Well, that's the exciting next step, I think, that will come. So imagine that you have got a nice big battery, and during the day you push back and energy is used on commercial sites, at offices and factories and stuff like that. So everybody uses that, and we can use that time of use tariff. So, but now also it should be a time of use or time of generation tariff. So if you, for example, in the morning have got enough capacity in your battery, wouldn't it be smart to borrow that energy to your neighbor so he can make coffee and get a higher tariff for that? That would be a nice thing, next step. So maybe I'm too much ahead of this, but this step is really great to have.
The issue of timing is very interesting because the timing of electricity is also about the production of electricity and the demand for electricity. So, I mean, I agree with you. I'm sure the domestic solar supplies, people with solar panels on their roofs who, from, you say, 11:30 your batteries are full. But let's just say the peak production, the peak excess production for homes would probably be between 1 and 3 p.m., maybe 4 p.m. if you're in the middle of the heat wave as we are in now, in just say in Gauteng. But the peak demand for electricity is at a different time. It's actually between, say, 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night. So it's one thing to say, well, this will go some way to relieving our energy crisis, but it still needs to resolve the timing because of when the real peak demand for electricity is, and unfortunately that's not when the sun is shining.
Sure, but remember, we have to also then change our behavior. In the past, we were told, do your pool pump at night because there we've got a surplus of power. Now you will say, okay, do your pool pump during the day. At these times, these peak times when we have got excess of power. And I think if we've got this extra power during the day, we could, for example, use those storage mechanisms like pump storage, our diesel generators that we've got, the peakers, we can only use them then for the evening peaks for a short period of time, and not like we do them now, running the 24/7, and even at times when the sun is shining. So that is really, I think, the big thing, that we need to shift our loads as users. So, run your dishwasher and your washing machine and all these things during the day, during those peak hours, and save energy in the evenings or in the morning peaks.
This is going to happen in Cape Town. Obviously, there'll be a few things. They'll get sorted out eventually, one presumes. That's the plan. Do you expect other cities in South Africa to follow? If it works in Cape Town, it'd be quite difficult for a mayor in Joburg or Ekurhuleni or in eThekwini not to do it.
Yes, exactly. I think Pretoria has announced something like that already. I think yesterday I saw that they just tried to say, okay, we are also on this, but they've got a different kind of setup. They've got much more, not so much urban, but much more area to reflect on. But I think all of them should do it, and that is now actually the challenge. I mean, there was this announcement from the president that Eskom is going to look into this, because until now Eskom doesn't allow residential users to feedback at all. And that is going to happen now, but Eskom and Cape Town is only one small portion of it. The municipalities, all of them should do that. And I think that is where government can really pull out the stops that the municipalities get through NERSA or whoever. And again, NERSA, that is again for us in the industry a challenge, because it's not the fastest organization. So that we've got a standard tariff through the country, and we know exactly what we can do and how it's work. It needs to be online. You need to submit your application to that. They can check things out, and then, within 2 weeks you should get your meter. That is the biggest challenge at the moment, that the rollout of this is taking too much time and too much bureaucracy. So I know that Kevin Nazib had said, they're looking into that to automate that, to make it faster. At the moment, it takes up to 4 months, 6 months to get your prepaid, your bidirectional meter. So that really needs to come in quick now, and people need to, streamline these structures and get that done. I'm also happy to hear, and I heard his last words there, that he has said that the meter cost also hopefully comes down, because at the end of the day, I don't see that we as consumers have to buy a meter, a bidirectional meter that they need in order to do the billing, which we pay for, but it's then their asset. So that doesn't match with me.
Wido Schnabel, thanks very much indeed. Expert on solar energy. I think you could say a fan of solar energy. Thank you very much indeed.